Hello, how are you? My name is Mounk Tounk. Thanks for stopping by. I would like for you to meet Mr. Antonio Sledge, street name Mounk Tounk. He is a defendant in the YSL RICO case, and he has a big decision to make, whether to testify against his friends or go back to prison for what could possibly be 35 years. The YSL RICO case is centered around a rapper named Young Thug, a Grammy Award winning rapper. He has a record label called YSL. The DA says that YSL is a gang, and she has brought a huge RICO case against 28 people. The indictment is so huge. She has 63 counts against 28 individuals in this indictment. Now, just in a comparison, Diddy also has a RICO charge, a RICO case on his hands, and he has 3 counts. This case has 63 counts. Now, when they first started investigating this and they first got these indictments, they started approaching the people who were in this indictment and offering them deals. Now, there was one individual that I wanted to highlight today. This guy is named Antonio Sledge. His street name is Mounk Tounk. And he agreed to testify in return for them not pursuing him in this RICO case. He had 2 charges. He had one being part of a criminal organization, and he also had a gun charge. And he's a convicted felon, so he is not supposed to be around guns. And he has an extensive criminal history. So they told him, hey, you testify to the fact that YSL is a gang, and you testify about the crimes that you are aware of that members of YSL committed, and we won't prosecute you on these charges. So they offered him this deal, and they told him, we'll put you on probation, and when we're ready to have you come in and testify, you're just going to have to come in and testify, and then pretty much you're free and clear, okay? Now, what he's being asked to do is to testify against his gang, against his people. And he signed an agreement back on December 27th, 2022. I have it right here. He has to testify to the fact that he is a YSL member, and YSL is a gang, and they do robberies, shootings, drug deals, carjackings, and he has to name the other people that are part of YSL. And if he doesn't do that, then he will be prosecuted along with the rest of them, and he will face 35 years in prison if he violates this order, this document, this plea agreement, and doesn't testify to what he agrees to. Then his probation will be revoked and he will be sent back to prison immediately. So this is his deal. Mr. Sledge is 43 years old, has children, has a grandchild, has one grandchild on the way. He's working. He's been on probation for 2.5 years. This deal was cut in December of 2022. So almost 2 years. What do you think that he did?
Mr. Sledge, are you a part of a gang called YSL?
YSL is not a gang.
I am asking you specifically, are you a part, or have you ever been a part of a gang called YSL?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
And I asked you and told you YSL is not a gang.
Then if you could say yes or no.
No.
Okay. Have you ever been a part of a gang called YSL?
I just said no.
Would you please tell the jury what members of YSL you know who have committed crimes to increase the street rep of YSL?
I can't really say
Why not?
because I don't know anyone in this courtroom have committed a crime.
So who do you know who has committed a crime to boost the reputation of YSL?
Nobody.
He totally contradicted everything, almost everything that he agreed to in this plea deal. And after the hearing was over, after he testified, they pretty much stopped the trial. Now, this is a big trial. It's been going on for about a year. It's the longest trial in Georgia history. It's still going on. It could be a mistrial. It could be a conviction. We don't know yet. There still has to, shake out. But they stopped the trial and said, we're going to deal with this situation right now where this guy came up here and he violated this agreement. So the judge held a hearing with the DA and Mr. Sledge's lawyer and Mr. Sledge. And the DA pointed out that, hey, he agreed to these facts. And then he gets up on the stand and he changes those facts. He doesn't comply with the order. So we want something done. So they had a person from the probation department come and they said how many crimes he's committed over the years and where his probation stands now.
I mean, he's been on probation for at least a couple of years, and did he serve it? What's left?
That would be 27 years, 7 months, and 8 days.
All right.
If they wanted to just send him back to jail for 27 years right now, they could, because he has violated his plea agreement. So the judge asked the DA, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with this guy?
What is the state's recommendation?
And the DA says to the judge, you decide. You decide what you want to do with him. We're going to leave it up to you, Judge.
The state is going to leave it in the full discretion of the court. Your Honor is fully aware of the conditions. Your Honor witnessed the testimony and how it affected the trial of the case, and I'm going to let Your Honor be the full steward of deciding what the penalty should be as it relates to all of the time that Mr. Sledge still has remaining on probation.
And you know what the judge did?
There is just not a proper regard for the judicial system and the seriousness with which an oath in court needs to be taken. I actually view this much more akin to perjury, frankly, than a technical violation. And the sentence for perjury is up to 10 years. I am going to revoke 5 years of Mr. Sledge's probation. We've got to take seriously the court system. So that's the sentence of the court. I find there to have been that violation. I'm revoking 5 years.
Thank you.
Might I ask, is it possible for my client to turn himself in to make arrangements?
I think y'all knew when you came in here that this was a strong possibility. So, no, I'm sorry.
The judge sent that man back to the prison for 5 years. Mind you, the trial isn't over yet. They have a gun charge against him in this indictment, in this RICO indictment, that carries a sentence of 35 years. And he has agreed that if he doesn't do what he said he was going to do, that defendant sentenced to serve as much as 35 years of confinement in Georgia Department of Corrections. He signed this. So he still has to face the charge of being a felon that was carrying a gun and doing a drive-by. And just his overall history just enhances all the penalties. So he stands to face 35 years in prison. All he had to do is go up on the stand and say, yeah, YSL is a gang. Yes, we committed crimes. We've done drive-bys. We've sold drugs. We've done all the things that I said that we did in my plea agreement. And he would have been cool. He would have not been prosecuted for the gun charge. He would have stayed out on probation. He would have continued to have a job. He would have had a life. The gang probably would have been mad at him, yeah. But he wouldn't have been in jail. But he made the conscious decision to violate this document and is now in prison. Thanksgiving is coming up. He's going to miss Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. He's going to miss a lot of Thanksgiving, Christmases, and New Year's. He's going to miss the birth of his second grandchild. He's going to miss cookouts, weddings, anniversaries, family reunions, graduations. He's going to miss all of that. This is an accumulation of bad decisions over the course of maybe 20, 30 years. And this is how it winds up. So I'm using this as an example to show people that are engaged in criminal activity, and in this case, gang activity, that this is the end game. These are the type of decisions that will be asked of those who participate in this down the road. It may seem like fun now, it may seem like the thing to do now. Everybody's part of the gang. We all rolling together. We all backing each other up, and we doing things together, lying for each other, stealing for each other, shooting for each other. But it's going to come down to something like this, where you got a tough decision to make. And you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If he says that, yeah, we did all this and, those guys are part of a gang, then he's got to look over his shoulder for the rest of his life, because, they're going to be very mad at him. They're going to feel like he betrayed them. So this is how it plays out. And I just wanted to bring this to your attention. And if there's anything else coming up that I find interesting about this YSL case, I will come back and kick it with y'all. And thanks for coming by and checking me out. And until next time, as always, peace and stay safe.